Good morning. I'm Harley Schlanger from the LaRouche Organization with your daily video update for January 20th, 2025. A few hours from now, Donald J. Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. At the same time today, we'll be seeing the opening of the annual World Economic Forum conference at Davos, Switzerland, where the elite of the corporate cartels will be gathering to look at the future. And from what we can see, there's a lot of lamenting going on that future of a global neoliberal order is not so bright. So let's take a look at these two developments and see where things stand and what is necessary for the American people and the people of Western Europe to regain sovereignty and restore representative government, to take power away from the security state that was set up after 9/11. Now, one of the keys to this is what happened over the last week to settle or to get a ceasefire for the ongoing Israeli assault on Gaza. And the key to that was the intervention by Donald Trump. Biden and Blinken had been trying for, so they say, for 8 months to get an agreement. Blinken kept talking about how tough it was, the negotiations with Netanyahu, the attempt to get an agreement for more humanitarian aid for the people of Palestine who are being victims of a genocidal assault from Israel. Now, the reality is that was not what Biden and Blinken were doing. And that was exposed by the successful intervention of Trump. And what did Trump do? Trump put out a statement that he wants the ceasefire by the inauguration day and the hostages released, or there will be hell to pay. 2 days later, he put on his Truth Social account a video of Jeffrey Sachs denouncing Netanyahu, saying that Netanyahu is intending to keep the United States in a war in the Middle East, as it has done over many, many years. And that this is what the Biden-Blinken administration have been doing. Now, by putting that out that way and then sending a new negotiator, Steve Witkoff, a real estate billionaire friend of Trump, and what did Witkoff do? As far as we know, he said to Netanyahu, Trump wants this done. And the speculation is there were carrots and sticks, that while there was a threat to Netanyahu implied, there were also offers to him. We don't know that. What we do know is that Netanyahu was unhappy with this agreement because he sabotaged it repeatedly in the last 8 months. And also, Blinken and Biden had tried to get this, but really, did they try? Or were they comfortable with the genocide occurring? And the point is that the United States has been complicit in the slaughter of the Palestinians by the Biden administration refusing to shut off aid to Israel if they continued the policy of killing. Now, the point is that there could have been an agreement. How many lives would have been saved? Similarly, in Ukraine, the sabotage of the initial March-April agreement in 2022 between Russia and Ukraine, that was sabotaged by NATO by sending Boris Johnson there to tell Zelensky there will be no aid for him if he signs an agreement. Now, how many Ukrainians have died as a result of that sabotage? So what was exposed here was, number one, the duplicity of Blinken and the U.S. and Western European governments when they said they wanted a ceasefire, but they continued to give full support to Israel, meaning they wanted this war to continue. Secondly, it shows that Trump is probably serious when he says he wants to put an end to these wars. So while there's much that's uncertain, and we'll watch this carefully, it is notable that yesterday the first 3 hostages, Israeli hostages, were released along with almost 100 Palestinians. And this is a phased agreement over the next 6 weeks, a ceasefire, hostage exchange, and we'll see where it goes from there. But the first day was a follow-through on exactly what was negotiated. Now, the question then is, will Trump be able to deliver a similar kind of solution to Ukraine? He said this is a priority of his. Well, NATO intends, as we can see from the last Ramstein meeting, NATO intends to fight to the last Ukrainian. So the question then as to whether or not that will happen is, will Trump be able to wrest power away from the secret government, the so-called security state that was set up after 9/11? And key to that will be whether the confirmation of Tulsi Gabbard goes through as Director of National Intelligence and Kash Patel as FBI Director, because the two of them have indicated and have demonstrated a commitment to open, transparent policy, and that means an end to the secret planning and conniving of the corporate cartels through the Defense Department, through the military-industrial complex, and so on, that has led to ongoing wars continuously, going back to the 1990-91 fall of the Soviet Union, when the U.S. was proclaimed the world's sole superpower. Hopefully that era is over. Now there's panic that that's the case, which is evident from the coverage of what's going to happen at Davos. The Washington Post had a column today talking about the risk assessment that was produced by the Davos team, where they said we're headed toward an era of geoeconomic confrontation. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. If you can get a peace agreement, if Trump goes ahead with meetings with Xi Jinping and Putin, then perhaps they'll be able to show him the benefit for the United States of cooperating with the BRICS, cooperating with the Global South, rather than confronting them. What is clear, though, is that we're approaching the end of what the Washington Post called the era of global neoliberalism, the symbolic end to that. And they had a quote from a Bulgarian commentator who said, "The world of yesterday could be no more." And that means the world of 500 to 600 years of European colonialism is over, rejected by nations of the Global South. And as we move to a new era, the question is, will it be an era of more military confrontation, coups, regime change operations, color revolutions, or will there be a recognition in Europe and the United States of the benefits of cooperation? Now, this is not an abstract question. This is a matter of life and death for the future of humanity. And what the LaRouche movement has been insisting on is that if Trump would recognize the benefits of cooperating with the Belt and Road Initiative and with the Global South, this would be very powerful inducement for the people of the United States to partake in a full economic recovery, infrastructure development, programs like the North American Water and Power Alliance, the Oasis Plan for the Middle East. There's all kinds of projects that could be done through cooperation as opposed to the colonial looting policies that have been in place for 600 years. So help us make this reality. The new security and development architecture the time for that has arrived. But it's going to require an effort from all of us. And one of the things you can do is download the Liars Bureau dossier that we've produced to aid the confirmation of Gabbard and Patel, and call your Senate office, call your senators and demand that they support the nominees of Donald J. Trump to those positions. That's a crucial challenge for the American people, to make sure that the Senate recognizes the importance of taking away from these corporate cartels these positions. So that's my report for today. As I said, you'll be able to read the Liars Bureau report that we've produced, showing that the people opposing Gabbard and Patel are those who want to have permanent warfare.